Hello again, Raiders and listeners. We are back with the next episode of the Furry Raiders podcast, the Raiders Rambles. I am Jolt, chief host of the show, and joining me again is none other than my co-host, Avira.
Hey guys, it's your orange doggo bad here.
We gotta run with it a lot more these days, because you've gotten up to a lot of bad stuff.
Orange doggo bad! Free!
Alright. So, joining us on the panel, first and foremost, Gil.
Hello. How's everyone been doing? Sorry for being out of the podcast for quite a bit of while. I've just been busy with a lot of real life issues, unfortunately. But all in all, everything's good.
Glad to hear it. Good to have you again. Our next
Likewise, you too.
Is Beowulf.
Hello, jackal of all trades, master of nothing. Like, legitimately nothing. Irregardless, I'm here.
And we all
again.
We get to be good at all these things, but nothing, like, we never truly masters of it.
My life in a nutshell.
Right.
Hey, Pillow Fox is here.
So,
no, Pillow Doggy.
And our last host is Talon.
Hey everyone, glad to be back here, Joel. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. And it's always, great when when you provide me with the good stuff.
Yeah. I'm the eyes in the sky for you guys, so glad we have a good lineup tonight.
We always do. I mean, sometimes I make good decisions, sometimes I make less so, but we're happy and we're making this work.
Mm-hmm.
So,
especially to hear Talon's beautiful voice, even.
So, I would like to preface the show with something that's gone off in a somber mood for us and the wider furry community. That's right. If you don't know, a very well-known fur known as Dogbomb has recently passed away.
Yeah.
Indeed, by his own personal decision to have medically assisted suicide.
Yeah, he apparently had suffered he was suffering from ALS, which would be a nervous degenerative disease that that kept degrading his nervous system until it was affecting him in a very drastic way that was affecting his life in a very, very bad way. So, unfortunately, he had to do what he had to do because ALS there's no cure for it.
At the moment, there isn't. But at the same time, what he has done is very admirable. He's taken to, for somebody who's literally had a death sentence looming over his head, he has literally taken it with great gusto and performed great charity runs in the hopes that one day ALS is curable.
Hopefully, and at what price too? Because even the cure for ALS can be pretty much complicated, and donations and everything can help. But even though these medical researches are quite expensive at best,
give it a lot of time. But in things like these, we shouldn't be so discouraged to have lost the community's poorer with him gone. Now, on the one note, though, go ahead.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you see a bright light come up, and it's usually because they have something bad happening to them, and then they fade away. And then sometimes they're lost to history, other times they become a token that the community stands on to show how good we are in cases.
Indeed. And what got Dogbomb really started on his, was that he had made an old woman's day by being out in his fursuit. Disabled.
He's made a lot of people's day. He ran this charity for a while. A whole parade and everything. Fundraising, and he was an inspiration for a lot of people. But unfortunately, with this type of condition, considering how severe it is, he decided to not let it take him and wanted to go out on his own terms. which
is
I'm not
unfortunate.
necessarily. It's unfortunate, but I'm not necessarily like I understand. Where he's coming from. Of course, if you're suffering from a horrible disease like this, that could eventually end up paralyzing you and being in tremendous pain. I can't even imagine, what that's like. It's just awful, regardless.
While I disagree with what's happened, I can understand his motives for doing it.
Yeah.
Be severely
Nothing,
messed.
is not, and these decisions are, yes, they're not taken very, very lightly. And for him to do so, like, he's come to his own terms. And even though I don't advocate
endorse,
such
right?
Yep. But
no, and we actually covered his charity a while ago. I think it was back in like the summer or something, wasn't it?
Either way you look at it, we've kind of, it was whatever it was very positive and noble for him to do.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But people like him, indeed, will be very sorely missed. And for that, now,
I'll pray for his family.
Yes, indeed. And whosoever has chosen to take his body, because he has donated to, for the purpose of, for research, he's basically given the body over to a university in the hopes of them finding a cure. That also happened.
Oh, that's a lot more
the way how
noble cause
things go,
than a lot of us can give.
Indeed. So before I move on to the topics, I got a little bit of an offer to kind of post a little bit of an announcement of a new furry convention that is coming to the Carolinas, if anybody is so around the area. Indeed. Now,
what's that?
Hey, Jill, I got a question for you.
Yes.
In this festival, are you gonna be like Foxler, gonna take lots of videos and pictures and then compile it up with music?
Well, you'll see what happens when at the end of April. You'll see what happens. But for now, this is the brief for the Blue Ridge Fur Fair in the Carolinas.
Those
set for March 12th to
precious.
15th, 2020.
There's a lot of cons coming 2020, like, legitimately.
We just hope they end well, and, well, unlike, let's say, some that ended up on the, internet historian of how bad they've ended.
Well,
I mean, there are certain places. There's lots of places around the States that have no con presence, and I've not really been aware of anyone in the Carolinas, to my knowledge.
I mean, that's pretty far for me too. I have to get a plane down there.
That's a long plane ride for me.
Yeah. From what it's looking, I mean, it's definitely
McDonald's.
McDonald's, the staple of furries.
Dude, tell me about it. I literally have. I went to a con that had a McDonald's next to my hotel, so
that's where you eat every day. It's
that's all
you're gonna get a wait.
That's it. You're good. That's all you need.
As long as we're all fed, like two meals a day is the staple everyone should be aiming for.
Yeah, fries, chicken nuggets, some cheeseburgers, whatever. You're good. Egg McMuffin, why not?
Looks like they're kind of hitting the shotgun of stuff that they want to hit. Throwing a game room in's always pretty great.
The possum. Yeah, they like possums. Oh, I thought there was like the what's it called? The other first student that's in the Navy. She's cute.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was for her for a brief second.
No, that's Quartz Husky. That's yeah. Yeah, no.
Yeah, originally his name was Fjord Frost.
And then he got a different character, and now it's Quartz.
Yeah.
I don't recognize anyone else in these videos. In this video.
They just look so precious. I just want to reach out and hug them. Hug them so tight.
But I mean, either way, it's kind of a bigger trend, and at least if furry is branching out to more and more areas, then it's kind of a sign of growth. Ooh.
Welcome to the growth of furries, where we will take over. We will take over anime one day.
Mm-hmm. And you know what's also interesting as well too? Their logo is the same tree rat as this Jolt. Am I right?
Somebody noticed. I am so pleased. I feel pleased.
Well, good luck with that. I mean, hopefully, they get some nice attendance and whatnot.
I mean, there's definitely a community around the Carolinas and neighboring states, because goodness knows, maybe most of them may have to travel to Atlanta to get their furry fix.
Yeah, that's what I had to do. Went to FWA. That was fun.
But in all essence, though, remember, so if you're going, save the date, save the time, save March 12th to 15th, 2020. It'll be at Doubletree Biltmore in Asheville, North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
The website you can access at bluereachfurfair.com.
All right.
Rough.
Indeed. So now it is time to move on to the main items of the week in this new cycle.
Ooh, the good stuff.
Yes. Now, I'm sure there's quite a lot of buzz you may have heard around a flick about that opposed abortion called Unplanned.
Which is a movie.
Yes.
Well, when I first saw the ads on this for YouTube, I kind of skipped them like halfway through. I thought it was like a pro-abortion movie, like, another one of those. And then I actually watched it all the way through, and then like halfway through the ad, like it took a weird turn, and I was like, oh, okay. So it turns out it's this true story about Abby Johnson, the director of Planned Parenthood, who realized how sick and evil abortion was. And then she turned around, did a full 180, and was like, now I'm against abortion. And it's based on a true story. Really, really amazing stuff. And what's even crazier is the far left media, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all of that is actually censoring the movie.
Yeah, like they actually took down their Twitter page.
Yeah, they did.
Yes, they did.
They took down their Twitter page when it was only at 7,000 followers. When they brought it back, it jumped up to like over 300,000.
Yeah, what happened was, they had like 70,000, and then they closed it down. And also there was another scandal involving Twitter too, which was after the shutdown. Was that they were actually, once you followed Unplanned, you back out of the page, you go back to Unplanned, and then instantly you find that you're unfollowed Unplanned thanks to the hand of Twitter.
Yep. So basically, you're not allowed to follow it.
Oof.
Yeah, interesting.
If you do, you'll delete your account, apparently.
No, they'll just delete your follow. Like, it'll be like it never even happened. So if you click follow on the account and then you refresh the page, it's like, oh, never mind, you were never following them.
Usually when you try to censor media, it gets more attention.
Exactly.
Alex Jones, for one.
They still don't get it, these people. Oh, deplatforming works. Yeah, bullshit. No, it doesn't. They just don't get it.
It makes things more popular.
I know.
It happened to be the case too, where even Unplanned also ended up at one point having, I may have to be corrected for this, more followers than the Planned Parenthood Twitter account.
Yes, that just happened, I believe, yesterday. They just surpassed him. Interesting.
Yeah, it's weird how it works, but hey, it is what it is.
Well, I'm thinking most people are waking up to the fact that killing babies is probably not a good thing.
Indeed.
Yeah, I would certainly hope so.
Because that's an interesting point, because I recently saw a video on PragerU. Now, they're a conservative university. They basically are hardcore conservative, old school conservative, talking a talking show, right? And there was actually a segment on abortion where a abortion doctor was on, and he explained the procedures of abortions and stuff like that. And he basically said that more and more abortion doctors are swaying away from the practice because they feel it's inhumane.
And it's gruesome at best.
Yeah, because now they're because he went into very graphic details of how they actually do the abortion, especially in late term abortions, where nervous systems and all that stuff's already been formed there. He actually went into a lot of graphic details of how they do it. But he also stated that more and more abortion doctors are swaying away from the practice because they themselves have kids now.
And now they see, that they've matured more to understand how things really are. Which, again, I mean...
This is a guy who had more than 100 abortions performed, so he was pretty much desensitized to the limit. So yeah, it seems like people are turning away from it.
This will be the generation that will upend abortion, because now the big, anti-abortion movement is on the up and up.
It's about time.
Yes, about time. It was much needed, I'd say, but I mean, it's better late than never, am I right?
Indeed. It has nothing to do. This has nothing to do with women's right to choose. What? Choose what? Choose to kill something? Like, no.
Yeah. It's about convenience more than anything.
And it's about a lot of things too. But at the end of the day, now you've got states pushing for like abortion up till birth, which is literally infanticide.
I mean, some of them are post-birth even.
Yeah, that's the most fucked up part.
Yeah, New York is doing that now. They said even after the baby's born, they can
straight murder.
Kill it. So this movie,
Virginia is doing that as well.
I mean, this movie could not be more timely. Yeah, they're trying to do that too. Oh, it's okay, right up until when it's being born, you can just end its life like that. I mean, that's just sick.
Well, that makes even Heinrich Himmler smile. Oh, fuck.
It probably does.
But in all though, like, the movie still triumphed over everything, despite the fact that it was billed as R-rated by by whoever's classifying it.
Board.
And they were denied a lot of commercial airtime, not just because of the R rating, but because of the content that was put out on it. And still, they pushed on, and they prevailed.
Opening weekend, they made double what they thought they were going to make. And a lot of it has to do with the backlash. It's like, oh, well, why are they censoring this movie? It's something people want to see.
I want to go see this movie. I want to see what they're blocking,
Exactly. Yeah.
Bingo. That's like
censorship does the opposite of what you think it does.
Unless, if you were to censor something that would be really, really bad, then it would work. But if you were to censor, let's say, something just for the sport of it, then hey, you're helping their cause in that case. I mean, am I right?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, like, that's kind of just how it goes. It's all politics these days. It's not about
politics drives everything. Politics and drama.
Yeah, it's not about like, oh, we have to censor this to help people. No.
Just like the furry fandom.
Yeah, well, they just want to push an agenda and, force their beliefs on everyone else and not let you see what you want to see.
Which is unfortunate.
And that's backfiring severely. It's this pushing certain ideals. It's backfiring tremendously on everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, just as a side, if we're on the topic of censorship, like, did you brought up to me that France has basically got slammed by Twitter for what they tried to do censorship, but it
Yeah. So the story behind this is the French government recently they passed a law saying that organizations and government officials and political parties can't run ads on social media and stuff like that, without disclosing where the money is coming from. So Twitter went. So the French election is coming up again. So the current ruling party of France tried to post ads on Twitter, and Twitter said basically flat out, because of your new laws, we're not running any of your ads because we're not taking the legal risks for this.
Oof.
Yeah, and the government party was not happy about this. Their MPs and their hierarchy, I'm not sure how their hierarchy is structured, but their top officials were dumbfounded. They didn't understand why this was happening. They thought it was an April Fool's joke.
Oof.
This happened. Yeah, it happened a few days ago. So basically, their own laws are backfiring against them.
Welcome to democracy.
Oh, France is so messed
You
up
reap what
right
you
now.
sow.
Yeah.
But
you know,
yeah,
I'm really hopeful for movies like this that actually do come out and have a different perspective than what the liberal media is trying to show everyone.
Than what everything's been telling everyone. Just like, oh, it's pro-choice. That means, you have the freedom to do what you want, no matter the consequences.
Well, the unfortunate part is, that the decisions that they make now is definitely gonna take a toll on them in the long run.
Yeah, but it's live your life now. That's all that matters.
Live your life now and be as selfish as you want to be. Yeah, that definitely is gonna end well for sure.
And you know what I find really funny too is like people on the left are like, "Oh yeah, we support abortion. Kill all the babies, whatever." And then when it comes to like death row, they're like, "No, we should let the criminals live because we value their lives." It's like, wait a second. So you want to kill the
Double
most innocent
standards.
lives and want to keep the most non-innocent lives alive? Where the hell is that mental gymnastics going on here? Like,
there's a level of double
what?
standard there that's physically not comprehensible to people who have a brain.
It's not comprehensible at all. Like, it's weird. Like, what are they thinking?
They're not.
They're not thinking.
The answer is simple. They're not.
No, they are not. But
and this is
yes.
And you see, this is the type of mental gymnastics that's causing a big rift within the left these days, because apparently their ideologies, their intersectionality and everything like that is clashing now. And
well, they your own.
You have a civil right. You have a civil war now with women and transgenders and everything, trying to get things right for their own group.
Oh yeah, just wait for it.
Let me guess, they're trying to fight for someone to have female privilege. Am I right?
Yeah, and there's exclusive spaces for women, and the transgenders are angry because now they're not allowed in that space and all that stuff. But I mean, this is
how does that work? I wonder.
Yeah, because that's I mean, let me can I actually actually saw a bit of a story on YouTube about I think it was on Sargon of Akkad about, let's say, a woman who transitioned to male, but like everyone started really treating him as a man, and gotta learn firsthand. I mean, how tough it all
I
is.
remember we covered that at one point. Yeah, like it's still a sham, all in all considered. But
I mean, it is what it. I mean, it is how things are as of now, and until things change, it might take a decade minimum per se.
Who knows? I mean, it's gonna get worse before it gets better. It's already getting crazy. 2019
tell me about it.
Started off nonsensical.
Yeah, but
Like,
speaking of nonsense, though, while we're about to go and move on to our next item, we are about to go move on to the next item of the story, which is just as nonsensical. Can someone in this chat tell me what I missed? Okay, well, we missed the us basically owning a farewell of sorts to Dogbomb and an advertisement to a furry convention in Asheville, North Carolina, at the behest of one of our members. And now we've basically missed the censorship of the Unplanned anti-abortion movie, in which case, and to nobody's surprise, the critics didn't like it, but the people really, really did on Rotten Tomatoes. 94% approval rating by the viewers.
Shocker! I wonder why that could possibly be. Kind of like the whole Captain Marvel situation, only in reverse.
And people know what they want. People are literally, it's time to connect. Yeah. But yes, we are going to cover the next item on the table, which is absolutely mind-numbingly stupid. Look at this. Take time to watch this.
Gender studies professor said that white people own time. If time had a race, it would be white.
You see, this is the problem with a gender studies professor who wants to assign race to everything. Everything is racist to these people. Literally freaking time.
And this is something we can't ever get back. Remember? If she says it's the evil white people who are literally causing us to go forward 1 second after 1 second after 1 second.
Oh, God forbid.
Oh man, that means if we let someone else quote unquote control time, that means we can go back in time. Man, I'd love to do that.
Well, okay.
I'd like to go back to the 2000s.
What are they gonna make a freaking Asian driver of a DeLorean or something?
No. She's not really talking about time per se. I mean, like she is, but she's talking about time as
more
in,
like history. Yeah.
Yeah, but that white people control time, and that we also control time when we're looking towards the future, where when she talks about Republicans and people on the right don't want to talk about race anymore, and she's like, no, you can't disregard race. Race is everywhere, and she keeps trying to bring it up, like the whole identity politics type of thing.
That's
literally what all these people have is they play the identity politics card and they try to get some brownie points with it.
I mean,
I don't get it.
It's mostly the fact is too, they're, as Dr. Phil would say it, narcissistic bitch. I mean, they're going for popularity. They're going for that self-egotism, trying to put themselves higher, moral, power, praise, that kind of stuff.
Well, she was talking about how she thinks that when white people talk about history, they disregard African history because it's not part of the world history. Now, here's the thing she doesn't know, or doesn't bring up, that the history of Western civilization and the history of African civilization are on two different type of, I guess, historical pathways where, sub-Saharan Africans didn't really contribute too much to Western civilization or modern society. For instance, like the light bulb or the television or the telephone or the internet. Africa
had the pyramids.
Yeah, Africa had
Weavers kings.
It was, because history is written by the victors of history, right? So I think she's just mad that Africa didn't contribute as much as white people have to the history of the world. That seems to be where she's coming from.
But
and that
they
we should
didn't want
recognize
to
African
advance
history
that.
more. Yeah, that we should recognize African history more. But the thing is, there's not too much to recognize. At the end of the day, there's really not. I mean, there isn't. Right?
There's a very small handful in the past 100 years where they've contributed to any amount that's reasonable.
Right, but she's still salty about it. She's like, "Oh well, why is history always about white people?" Well,
because we do everything,
and we kept the record of it too. Well, not we, because I'm not white. I shouldn't say that.
I mean, okay, still, but that's not even a racist or bad thing to say. It's just history. That's just how things happen.
What have I done?
This is how things happened. I mean, sorry to say, but apparently her feelings, trump the facts.
Yeah, feelings trump facts. That's like society nowadays.
Oh
my goodness! I mean,
here's a live comment. What to read this though? Toonie says, "Does that mean white people equals God?"
No, what? I mean, maybe she thinks that.
I mean, if you take it at exact face value, that's basically what she's saying.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, "Oh, white people own time. They own history, everything." And it's like, no, Africans had their own civilization, but it was totally different than that of the West. It just was. That's it.
Like, it's the thing is, though, what you were saying is right, though. White people did end up keeping records of what they've done. They kept journals. And Orion, in the live comments, did say, yes, Africans didn't end up keeping the records effectively. Now, I can't verify this.
I mean, probably for the first, tons of millennia in Africa, they went and just burned each other's records when they invaded each other's village.
True.
They didn't keep records. They just lived in mud huts and hunted with spears for
They had a piece of wood with pictures carved on it that was their tribe history, and then it got burned when the hut burned.
Another thing that this professor says, this professor,
I'm sure Talon can confirm something.
Oh
no, they actually
says that Africans were stolen from Africa. Now, I don't know if she realizes how history works, but it turns out Africans were selling out other Africans to slavery. Did she?
Oh, yeah,
did she
true.
Not know that? Did she not know
that's exactly how it worked.
That's how it worked. Yeah. It wasn't the Europeans stealing slaves; it was Africans. Other tribes fighting each other, enslaving their own.
To see who got sent on the slave ship.
That's what they did.
And they were sold as merchandise since they got the European colonies on the American continents.
So who's the real racist here? Is it the white people whose ancestors 300 years ago did such and such, or is it this woman who's claiming that we're all still bad?
Or was it the other Africans who were supplying the slave trades, right?
Yeah, they didn't care. They just wanted money. They wanted guns and food.
And that's what they got.
Yeah, there it is.
Can I just say straight up that I am going to be the victim of white people because I'm going to get rolled back 1 hour because of daylight saving time.
How have you not had daylight savings time yet? That was like a month and a half ago.
He's in Australia.
What have the evil white people done to you to get that?
For the record,
it's called
guys,
springing forward.
Yes. Jolt is not white, so it's my obligation as a white person to steal time from him. And I'm going to go ahead and do that in a second. Yeah, because daylight savings, I own that partially.
Yeah, I mean, each one of us gets 15 minutes, right?
Yep, that's it.
Oh, you racists.
Yes. Fuck you, Australia.
Each one of you white bastards is stealing 15 minutes from my hour.
Hey, we give it back to you in the fall.
We're entitled to it.
Luckily, I'm racist.
We just borrow that extra, time to give it back to you in the fall.
I'm not a racist. I don't have daylight savings time, so I'm giving my time to you now.
So you're like an activist. That's
nice. Yeah.
Okay. But isn't this crazy though? I mean, how can a gender studies professor? By the way, she's a gender studies professor. But how can she?
That's all they have left running for them. It's their only shtick.
I mean, everything is racist. The OK symbol is a racist symbol. Milk is racist, apparently.
And do you know what happened do you know what's happened recently that's been made? Now they're thinking that clowns are being hijacked into a right-wing hate symbol.
Oh, yes.
I read that.
I think I have a feeling why that might be. Because we live in a clown world. That's like a meme that I've been seeing because the left is so fucking bonkers.
Just like when we call them NPCs.
Well, when you call them clowns too, there's an emoji that's a clown, and it happens to be mostly like a white face, with like the clown makeup and stuff. And then I'm sure you guys have seen this. It's like the clown face emoji next to like the world.
Can I just interrupt myself because to get this was done a joke that was shared to me in the voice chat. This whole clown thing brings the whole meaning to the word honky. Right.
Oh God. Yeah, right. How is that racist against what, ourselves? I mean, they call us honkies.
Actually, I'm actually
That's a racial slur.
yeah.
But how are we using it as a racial like that doesn't, again, mental gymnastics, mental nonsense. I don't get it.
I'm actually thinking about it as well too, because if black facing is racist, and now white facing is also racist, who would have thought?
I mean, blackface. That depends if you want to call it racist or not. Like, let's say
it depends on the context.
it does. Like, there's a picture of some dirty coal miners in Mary Poppins. We talked about this before, and they said, "Oh my God, it's racist because blackface." Actually, no. It was people who were in a dirty coal mine who got dirt on their face, and it was darker because that's what dirt does.
That's what coal dust is. Coal dust is the color black.
Oh darn!
Precisely.
How evil!
Oh,
evil,
you got
evil,
sweat
bad.
and coal dust on your face that make your face look black. Oh, you're racist now. What?
Oh my God!
I know.
I just realized something. Hey Talon, your fur is black, which means you're a racist. Hey Beowulf, your fur is black, which makes you a racist.
Oh no!
Man, I knew I should have picked white fur, but then I would have had to clean all the time.
No, white.
And you know what I'm thinking about? Toonie. I'm thinking about Toonie now.
Oh no, not Tim. But hey, I mean, if Beowulf were thinking right, it would basically put a whole new spin on the whole "We was kings" thing, because
We was kings.
Well, nobody likes orange because orange man bad, so therefore orange doggo bad. Probably change it to like yellow or something.
The coal miner thing actually reminded me of a funny joke that I heard the other day.
Yeah.
There was one. It's a bit of a naughty joke, but not too explicit. There was once an artist. He painted a picture, and this picture got hung up in a gallery. It was a picture of three black guys. The two, all three were naked. The two guys on the left had black penises, but the guy on the right had a pink penis. All right. So,
Okay.
the people attending the gallery, they all commented about how the art is a depiction of societal structures and how race played a role in the shaping of history. But then a guy comes along and he stands next to a couple admiring the image, and they tell him the same story of how society is structured and everything. But this guy said, no, that's actually not true. And the couple asked him, how do you know this? Well, he said, well, I'm the artist. And they asked him, well, what is the meaning of this painting? He says, well, these are just three Scottish coal miners, and the guy on the right went home for dinner.
Ooh.
That's great.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So, a couple of things before we move on. Live comments. Versogat Sina says, I'm orange. You know what that means. Orange fox bad.
Oh. It's okay. I understand.
Wait, are you a fox?
Yeah, Versogat.
No.
That's what his name kind of means in Irish, bearded fox, he says. But
he's a pillow doggy.
Yes.
Ooh.
Just like you, Talon, a pillow doggy.
Yeah, that happened. That sadly happens a lot to me. Everyone just wants to hug me.
So you're so soft.
Oh, we got another comment. Clown is a race. Yeah, apparently so. Yeah, why not? Clown is a race.
Hashtag Honk Lives Matter. Clown Gang rise up.
Clown Gang rise up. First gamers and now the Clown Gang.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
man.
Speaking of gamers, this is literally the perfect time to transition into the next item on the show.
Oh boy.
Yes.
Hold on to your ankles. This one's a doozy.
Yep. Eurogamer writer Vicky Blake compares wheelchair accessibility to video game difficulty.
Because
let me guess.
Someone
video
can't
game
handle a difficult game.
Yes. And that game in question, as of late, is Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice.
Wait, what? Wheelchair accessibility to video game?
Because people need to be able to walk up the wheelchair ramp when they aren't ready to take on a gruesome, gritty game. And aren't willing to climb the stairs.
Well, why don't they just practice and play the game more and learn how to get better?
Because that's too much work. They want to have the nice gradual slope rather than, actually walking.
Then at that rate, why don't they just play tic-tac-toe with themselves and then they'll feel better?
But alas, though, the thing is, it was just way too hard for them. And we know this has come from a developer from Software who's been known to make very difficult games in the vein of the Dark Souls and Bloodborne series.
Oh dear.
Hold on. I just read this article and now I think I might have like a terminal brain bleed. Lego Marvel Superheroes 2 is compared to Dark Souls and Sekiro. What?
The fuck?
What?
What?
This reminds me, wasn't there a thing about Cuphead being too hard as well a few years ago?
When it came out, games are meant to be hard. Some games are meant to have a difficulty curve that is going to punch your teeth out and make you swallow them. Other games are going to hold your hand. If there's a tutorial, I'll go through the tutorial. Then I go into the game. You get over it. You don't write a freaking blog article about how bad you are at playing a game.
Or they could just go ahead and play some Lego Star Wars, for instance.
No, it's not that.
Well, true.
Here's something that will make you laugh because there's another layer to this story. Because journalists were they said they got a copy of Sekiro, but they also got guides for reviewers that tell you intricacies about the game and certain details that you'd have to pick up from learning when you get used to it. And even with all that assistance, they said, nope, it's too hard. Why can't we hack the game?
Oh,
basically like, where's my cheat codes, boy? I need my cheat codes.
I was gonna say that. They're appealing to cheats rather than taking on the challenge.
All right, we have a really funny comment here from Aldonis Draconis. He says, I feel stairs are a white colonist establishment. So obviously we must have.
We didn't even make stairs. The Egyptians were the first ones who made stairs. Because they made stairs for the pyramid, and then they're like, hey, these look like stairs. Let's smooth them over.
Yeah, how dare they? How dare they have stairs? Oh my god.
But my goodness, the mere fact. Okay, here's something that's going to get your spirits perked up because in light of all this, with hard video games, they got beaten by a disabled quadriplegic who actually managed to beat a difficult boss in Sekiro.
Wait, what? How?
Well, technically, you can be quadriplegic and you can still have really good, being able to move your hands and stuff. You just can't support anything with your limbs, essentially. Like quadriplegic really doesn't mean that you are frozen in place necessarily.
Right.
It just means that you can't move on your own.
Without some form of assistance.
Well, yeah. I mean, kind of like Stephen Hawking, who he was able to still communicate, still move around.
He could still move his hands, but he couldn't, really move anything else.
Yeah.
The mere fact
imagine that being someone who's fully
capable,
fully able to use all of their frickin' things, and someone who's stuck in a chair just holding the controller because their hands got placed on it beats a game that you can't even beat.
Where is your excuse now?
There's a level of low that I don't think that you're brain could comprehend.
Yeah, and it just like even a lot of people who are like fully mobile may not be as good as secure, as long as the point is you just chip away at it until you get good enough to push through the challenges.
That's what the baseline of get good means.
It's
Right.
get good.
And the fact is, though, Sekiro, I am going to flat out say, or any games like these in the same vein, do not need a lower difficulty setting from the gate.
You just need to brush up your skills to it.
They're fun because they are hard.
I actually kind of enjoy seeing games that start out with their normal difficulty is normal, and then they go hard, extreme, and then sociopath.
Now that's Dark Souls for one. Then there's Bloodborne, and now this.
Well, there are some games that actually have like a dynamic type of difficulty where, like, if you're doing well in the game, it's going to get harder automatically.
That kind of game is my friend.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like if you're doing well, it's like, all right, it's actually going to challenge you, and that's that's what makes it fun. You got to work out how to get through the challenges.
Yeah,
that's cool.
If it just keeps you just so you're just able to get past each time and keep scaling that up, eventually you get really, really good at the game.
Yeah.
Because if it's dynamic, it needs to push you right up to your limit, but not over your limit, just every single time to keep getting you better.
And that's precisely it. Here's another live comment, though. Tony asks, imagine playing Dance Dance Revolution paraplegic. I mean, I've seen videos of somebody playing Dance Dance Revolution with crutches.
Damn.
God bless him.
I have also seen people do that, and I'm like, you are either incredibly brave or incredibly dumb.
Or incredibly, how can I say, creative?
Talented?
Yeah, talented, creative.
I mean, don't let your disabilities or your injuries stop you from following your passions.
And then you use your hands.
Or if so, I mean, they could also just, depending how it is, it could actually help them, let's say, climb for the better. If you know what I mean. Well, climb for the better. Sheesh.
Yeah, because, I mean, you could get something where you get injured bad enough that it takes you to your lowest of your low, and then you just decide to go up from there.
Mm-hmm. I mean, essentially
I'm pretty sure a lot of these journalists feel that. They just got kind of took down a few dozen pegs.
Yes. Because all they did was literally whine about, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, this game's too hard. Yeah.
If you gatekeep your hobbies, you're an asshole. Oh, look at that. When the mirrors flipped on them. Bam. That's just... That game is literally a bitch slap to their face.
The one among many, like Cuphead.
Oh,
wasn't Cuphead like a response to Bendy?
And the Ink Machine? I believe so.
No, it was a retro-ish style video game, and like people complained, but it's a challenging game. And of course, even journalists saw fit to whine about it because it was too hard.
And so hard to the point where they couldn't pass the fucking tutorial.
Yeah, I bet games like that, especially when I picked up Base Combat for the first time and tried it on Ace mode. That crap is crazy terrifying back in old PS2 days.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm a bit of a classical gamer. I like playing the early 2000s and early 90s games.
Half-Life.
Yeah, not only that. I mean, I'm playing Phantasy Star. I'm playing Need for Speed, Most Wanted, Carbon, Porsche 2000 from the PlayStation 1.
Oh, the oldie but goodies.
Yeah,
yes.
The latest game that I'm playing right now is a game from 2006. That's Dawn of War. And honestly, the level of difficulty. Now, I play the newer games as well from time to time on Xbox or the PlayStation, but the games today, they basically spoon feed you. It's in some cases it's impossible to lose, even if you
Do you
try.
remember? Do you remember like a Grand Theft Auto Vice City and Grand Theft Auto 3? Fail one
Yeah,
thing and had to do everything from scratch.
yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that. And today it's just no. Here's a few checkpoints. Here's a checkpoint every 5 minutes, so you don't have to. I mean, I played Diablo, Diablo 1. All right, Diablo 2 was all rightish, but the skill level on Diablo 2, especially in Hell, at the Hell level, that's the lowest level. That's where you fight Diablo. The skill jump you had to do from the level before it, the floor before it, and the Hell level was insane. It was insane for me back then. And those are the games I still play today.
I mean, we're not saying
my favorite game that had the craziest difficulty scale I feel was I think it was from 1999. It was called Shattered Union. And when you went from normal to hard, it's like all of a sudden you have half the number of units, half the number of resources, and the AI has doubled everything you do. And that's just one. That's just one. You go up the next scale, it doubles again.
Ooh.
And then you're just like, nope, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, we're also saying, I mean, like, we shouldn't, that people nowadays shouldn't really say go back to those games because, oh, it's too hard or not. I mean, they should. I mean, in fact, there's a lot of treasure
You've been
left
spoon-fed
behind it.
for 10 years. You need to get back into the old gritty games that didn't give a crap about how you felt or what you wanted. It's going to kick you in the teeth on hard difficulty, whether you like it or not.
And give you that sense of accomplishment when you finish at least one of the missions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, power through.
Yeah, right.
Even if it means you have to punch a monitor or two.
And sometimes you just have to grind it from start to finish again and again until you just nail it.
Or spend 40 hours playing one game continuously.
The thing about games that spoon feed you, I remember Fallout 4 when it just came out. I pre-ordered it and I got it the day it released, the hour it released. I was playing it in my room. But eventually, people complained that the hardest difficulty settings on Fallout 4 was too easy. So they brought out a hard setting. And I believe they brought out an even harder setting after that because people still complained it was too easy.
Survival. Survival came out, and that was kind of a game changer for people.
Yeah, but why wasn't it included in the first place? Why did you have to add it on later?
Probably because no one expected everyone to be a sociopath.
It wasn't survival anymore. It was you shooting a bunch of random objects in the distance. It becomes repetitive. It's not survival anymore. I mean, Resident Evil 1 back in the day, it was top down, fixed camera, and it was a beast of a game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you couldn't always see the zombies coming at you, and you would die fairly quickly.
Kind of the things are old versus new. It's another whole story and fun. Last couple more,
the new.
Couple more little live comments here.
Let's have read the live comments.
Fortune Aldonis have been saying crutches might be an advantage in Dance Dance Revolution because of touch points and so forth. Like literally having like a third leg because of your two crutches and so forth. But but sometimes it's one of those cases where you really want to play and you've only got one good leg to stand on. You got to use it.
I mean, like, you also have to practice with the crutches, too. Like, if you have 3 legs, I mean, that's kind of...
I mean, I'm pretty sure if you're on crutches for long enough, I mean, or you're on them a lot because you're really dumb, you probably have plenty of time to practice. Well, especially if you're one of those people who's like, oh, I'm a lifetime member of this arcade. I'm going to go there every day of my life for the next 20 frickin' years.
I know somebody like that, actually. He's really freaking good at DDR.
So they are.
I suck at DDR because even though I have good hand-eye coordination, my feet do not know what they're doing.
Well, try doing DDR with fursuits on. I've seen some crazy guys do so.
I did it at MFF. I couldn't see the screen, even though it was 6 feet or 3 feet in front of me.
Yeah.
Also, that has to be some. Also, has to be some pretty skilled tripod, if you ask me.
Yep. Well, that's what the back stilts are for. The back support. But
The
anyway.
tripod.
Anyway, let's move on to the great story and our biggest namesake.
Da 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 da.
We need literally an epic. We should have honestly introduced this with an epic space theme. But here we go. Lo and behold. Elon Musk is up to some more shenanigans again.
So his tweet says, obviously, just someone in a squirrel suit. Also, very sus that a furry is reporting.
No, Fox.
Oh,
FoxNews.com.
He means furry.
Jolt, what
I know
have you been
it's
up
Fox.
to?
Hello, it me. I was the one in the costume. No, just kidding.
And look at this picture, though. How cool is that? It's like a rainbow. Is this even real?
Those squirrels are huge, by the way.
Is that like a real squirrel? It's like purple.
Yes.
Well, he just said it was real.
So,
it's real.
I'm guessing he took a picture of Jolt in his natural habitat, and now he's all confused. I mean, like, what's going on here?
Oh, what's going on? And you know, it's literally just a photography exhibit, and Elon just decided to, you know, play the internet like it was supposed to be played.
But he says that a Fox is reporting on this.
Come on. Do you or do you not get Elon's shit posting game?
I think I know what he's talking about.
He's ingenious with his shit posting. Like, he's on another level that no one understands.
Look at there's a purple squirrel though. What? That's so cool.
The squirrel's also like 40 pounds.
Like, the thing is, though, he did say it was a suit, and then you know what? This was literally a furry magnet on Twitter.
Oh yeah, this blew up like everywhere because
Elon, are you a furry?
These rumors aren't true.
Rumors are not true. He meant, do you identify as a furry? Fur curious.
Fur curious.
Yeah, fur curious. Oh, what does that mean?
Oh no.
Furry Space Wars win.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up.
That's when it's like, so when is the convention going to be held in the Moon Hotel?
ElonCon 2020. Make it happen.
I mean, I'd be okay with it being in orbit, even, you know, like make another ISS that's a hotel.
Space Yiff.
Maybe like 2028, we're gonna have FurryCon in space.
2030 MoonCon.
Yeah, MoonCon.
Hey, if it gets us all the way there, and we're literally up in Teslas in space, sign me up.
No, driving Teslas on the moon, fam.
Man, that's lit.
Tesla spaceships.
I just have to wonder, like, why is he even posting on this though? Like, obviously, Elon knows what furries are all about.
He's on another level. He has something. He has something that he can't. That he's beyond everybody, and no one understands it.
Maybe he knows that furries are the future, and he's just investing right now.
That'd be terrifying.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah,
if we are literally going to be the space master race, colonize the moon and Mars.
No, we go for Uranus with furries. We go for Uranus.
Inu just commented something that I was thinking about too. He said Elon Husky Musk.
Elon Musky Husky.
Elon the Musky Husky.
Oh no.
The future is furry.
It totally is.
Good lord.
Why not Pluto, Toonie? Because Pluto's not a planet anymore. He was kicked out of the club.
Unfortunately so.
They actually reinstated it as a planet and take it off as a planet every single year.
I'll be telling my grandkids, when I was your age, Pluto used to be a planet. And they'll be like, what's Pluto? Oh, you whippersnappers, you don't remember Pluto. I remember Pluto.
Pluto. Yeah, it was.
And you know what? You know what also is going to be the greatest story to tell? If we actually ended up getting Elon's space party.
Oh, I can't wait to spaceport in the Star Trek Voyager.
Oh, but heck. Now, I bet who's going to wonder? Who's the first furcon who wants to get Elon as a guest of honor?
Ooh,
Oh,
dear.
man.
Ooh,
If
dear.
that was like an actual option, I'm pretty sure every convention in the United States would just be scrambling for him.
I mean, probably ElonCon would be the best because Kage is like a scientist and all that stuff, and he's like, "Oh, hello, I am a scientist as well. Would you like to be?"
Yeah, but then you have MFF, which is the biggest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they don't have any scientists, and like Elon Musk is all about that science shit. Just an idea. I don't know.
But at the end of the day, somebody really thinks they can bring Elon back down to Earth because being a furry is too much for them.
Oh, you think that would be the case, but
there is no limits to put on freaking Elon. Like you just can't
seriously
understand.
This is a guy who smokes weed and sends cars into space. Like, come on. Who does that?
What else could be doing instead of denying he's a furry?
Running SpaceX 2007. Focus on the SpaceX Falcon. One heavy launch scheduled for this coming Sunday.
Already does that well. Has an entire team that does that. Probably has lawyers for that.
Number 3. Number 4.
Has an entire team for that, I'm sure.
Number 5. I think his shitposting game is enough so he can take care of himself.
He doesn't care for number 5.
And number 6.
And 6, he's kind of already working on that.
Yes, Furry MoonCon 2030.
And you know what, though? Speaking of last week, though, I think he might be on track to actually beating NASA at their game again.
Ooh.
I mean, basically, NASA turns to SpaceX to launch their satellites now. So, I mean...
Well...
Who's the genius now?
I mean, we kind of just strangleholded NASA's budget and it's like, no, we're going to get rid of your budget and give it elsewhere.
Ooh, my.
And now all that's left is to make freaking Elon like a full-blown furry, like the husky he's meant to become.
Huskies are too low-key, though. He's too out there to be a husky. Like... I mean, it rhymes perfectly, but he's too out there just to be a basic husky.
So maybe you think he'd be like an owl or something, like the wise owl who's maybe a little bit bonkers but kind of has his shit together.
I think that would also be too common for him. He's on a whole nother level.
Yeah, tell me about it.
I like one of the comments was Elon is a ferret.
No,
ferret. Still too common.
He's a fur snake.
It's possible. It's possible. I think we can roll with it.
Yeah, maybe a ferret. Yeah, I could see that. Slinking around.
There's another kind of other things too. The live comments are lit. Aldonis Picona says, "Furries are gay, automatic, luxury space capitalists."
Yep.
Well,
yeah, that's how it works.
Exactly.
I'm kind of wondering something now. Hey, Jolt.
Yeah.
Especially when we were younger, especially when we were in school, we were always taught, how humans evolved from Africa because their bodies changed to adapt to certain locations, right? Thing is,
well, they do, yeah.
I know, but thing is, that is only here on Earth, right?
Right.
And in the different continents. So, if we took humans and put them in another planet and make them adapt to the environment, everything, do you think maybe by that we could mutate into?
That's a
Well, I
very
don't
big
know.
reach.
Yeah,
And
maybe
quite
like one of those
frankly, I
aliens
mean,
from Star Trek.
oof.
I mean,
mean,
really, if you think about it, it's more or less theoretically possible to do within probably 50 to 100 years that you can gene modify just about anything to be anything.
So furries, here we come.
But
real
again,
furryism.
but
Oh,
I
that goes
don't
back
know.
to the whole thing that Kage said, which is like, do you really want real life furries? Because essentially you're adding an entire another sentient species into a social hierarchy that can't even function with one.
Okay, he does have a point. I mean, the fact is, and I'm a little bit iffy about evolution these days, but the fact is that who knows what can happen if we ever, if furries landed or even people landed on Mars and colonized it.
I'm sure the gravity would have a definite effect, like on our height and our strength.
Well, who
and whatnot.
knows?
We wouldn't be able to walk anymore. Instead, we would rather swim in the atmosphere per se.
All right, yeah, but a couple more live comments before we, wrap up. Inu Akami, how dare you all assume Pluto's pronouns?
Oh goodness, we're bigots. Oh my goodness, forgive us.
Meh, not the first time. Don't really care.
I mean, I don't know. Take it up with Pluto because Pluto's literally just dust booted from the, the solar.
But I was kind of wondering about it for quite a bit. So, what if, let's say if we died off, some Elon Musk, scientist takes our soul and resurrect us as our fursonas, just as Orion said.
I mean, if he was some kind of a god, then maybe.
Hmm.
But he's not, so that's not going to happen.
I really don't know about that. That's weird in a lot of ways. I mean, who knows?
Man.
What if, let's say, I don't know, at some point in the future, let's say we colonize a planet and I don't know. I mean, like every single one of the furries, the different ones that have a similarities would become, let's say, a sort of species. Let's say, in an environment.
It's possible though, but remember,
It's possible indeed.
Cyanarch says if he wouldn't be able to live in his house if he became Cyanarch IRL. Like if he was the fox that he wanted to be, then yeah, that's a good question. Okay, maybe we're not fully ready for real life furries, and we haven't worked out all the caveats.
Also, another important part is, I mean, if it would really work, would it be just like Jurassic Park, if you remember that.
Oh, good grief! Like literally, furries need their own, conservatory.
Mm-hmm.
But one day it might happen. But I think we have pretty much reached the end of our program for this week for time. Well, I thought the news cycle was a bit but man, some gems really popped up this week. What about you guys? What do you think?
I loved it, every single bit of it.
It was very interesting for sure.
Honestly, all credit should go to Beowulf for this, for the titling of the episode, because when we were just making a couple of in-jokes, you know what?
Yeah, that's how it happens. When you hear stuff like ElonCon, yeah, that's the name that sticks.
Yeah, right. And we'll basically be and if it ever happens, we'll be promoting it like crazy.
Yeah, I
want to on this ride. I know you do.
Hey, Jolt. Speaking of which, in the future and all, what if, let's say, the point where, let's say, we all biologically die off and, well, apart from our arts and our personas created, what if, the podcast would be at least our audible remains of us?
Nothing lasts forever, and I'd love to say that, we would love to keep everything archived and recorded, and that our traces on Earth will forever remain with us. That's a very, very big question.
That's
it all
something
depends,
that
actually.
Yeah.
nothing necessarily will last forever. Everything will eventually pass.
And who knows, even as well too. If one point, after I'm dead, some company might take my character and use it some game or some video. In any case,
I mean, yeah, there are some interesting questions. I don't have all the answers at the time and point though, but at this point, let's just take this one step at a time, and and for now, we're gonna say our little kind of closing statements. So, who'd like to start closing off the show? Like any?
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this one as much as we all did, as we hope to see you in the next one. So, hope to see you guys next time. And Jolt.
I mean, hey, this is the reason I haven't made this close off, because I wanted to see if anybody else just wanted to throw some pile on it. Hey, Vera?
So, all right.
Yeah, sure. Hope you all guys enjoyed the podcast. And remember Dogbomb and all that he's done for our fandom.
He will never be forgotten.
No.
What about you, Talon?
Yeah, I think this was an excellent podcast. Thanks, Nova. Thanks, Jolt. It was an amazing show as always.
Mm-hmm.
It's really fun being here.
And just for the record, Talon, you have such a cute accent. Now on to you, Beowulf.
Well, I'm more or less just here again, trying to keep going forward. That's all you really can do, because you can look back on memories, but you got to keep going forward.
And that's what we're doing. We're going to keep making more and more of these. We made some changes down the pipeline, but we are structurally the same, and we're going to keep bringing you guys in.
As we go deeper down the rabbit hole.
Hey,
well, yeah,
I mean, there's always a market for this stuff, so you know what? We're going to use it.
So I hope you guys enjoyed this one as much as we all did, and hope to see you guys next time. And until then.
This is us signing off. Farewell.
Ta-ta.